Hello everybody, I am Crystal Clear 101. Welcome back to my channel. We have another Transformers toy review today, and this time I'll be reviewing the Transformers Generations 30th Anniversary Voyager class Brainstorm. Now this figure was released in late 2014. His suggested retail is about $24.99. He is a general release. Now let's look at the front of his packaging. I could be mistaken, but I believe this is the first time since Generation 1 we've had Brainstorm. And even though this is supposed to be based on a IDW version of the character, this looks like a modern update of the original G1 character, like a modern montage, I guess you could say, of the original. But cool artwork of the character right here, Transformers Generations logo right here. Head converts to pilot, so he's a Headmaster like the original. Thrilling 30, 2014 Transformers. Name of the character. Hasbro. We got a nice Autobot emblem on the left side of the box. He is also Series 2, number 9. And here we have a couple of shots of Brainstorm, Robot Mode, Jet Mode, what the head converts to, what he looks like. And a little brief bio, which says, Brainstorm. A genius scientist and diabolical inventor, Brainstorm developed advanced weaponry for the Autobots. Although many of his inventions are deemed too devastating for use in actual combat, it's possible his laboratory itself is his most dangerous creation. Brainstorm frequently ignores proper safety protocols, and an unwary visitor to his lab runs a high risk of triggering some of the half-finished Doomsday weapon. In spite of this, he is allowed to continue his work, proof of just how valuable Brainstorm is to the Autobot cause. And of course, we got text specs right down here. The left side of the packaging, which shows more of Brainstorm. I think that looks pretty sweet. Autobot emblem shows that Sharkbite is available. Transformers logo on the top. Okay. Now, before I go on, let me go ahead and state that there are two versions of Brainstorm here. There's a first release and there's a second release, which is called the Fitz version. Now, the one I have right here is the Fitz version. I'll explain a little bit more about that when I actually get this character out. But let's go ahead and take out Brainstorm. And let's get a better look at Brainstorm. Now, I mostly have pros about this figure. I really don't have any cons, honestly, about this figure. But let me go ahead and explain what I mean by a regular and a fixed version. The main complaint I heard about this figure when it first got released was, as I say, this is a Headmaster, so obviously the head will come off. Now, the gimmick is that you're supposed to be able to press this button down. As you can see, this comes down, which allows you to pull the head out. Well, there were stories about how the head would snap off. Either because, this wouldn't come out mainly because this wouldn't come out all the way, and you try and pull him out, and he snaps. Well, I don't know what the number is between that one and the Fitz version, but what I can tell you is that the Fitz version, it will actually have a rubber band which goes around the side of the head to help lock it into place. So if you can find the Fitz version, get the Fitz version. But as you saw, the head comes off, and it becomes an individual little robot. As you saw, it went right back in. But overall, this figure for me is absolutely stunning. Because I've had an original G1 Brainstorm. I thought that figure was excellent. And it was one of the few Autobots that would actually turn into a jet, which I thought was absolutely neat. And his transformation, for me, is very simple. I love that about this figure. Here's what I love about this figure. Number one, his transformation is reasonably simple. It's one of those I could figure out without any real issues. Probably took me no more than a minute to figure out his transformation. It's really easy. Another thing I actually do like about this figure, his size. He's actually a very good size. When he's compared to like an MP10 scale Optimus Prime, you'll see how good of a size he really is. Another thing I absolutely love about this figure, overall, compared to some other Transformers I've been fooled with, he actually feels like good quality. I mean, he feels like very good quality material. There have been certain ones I fooled with, namely the Transformers Prime Beast Hunters Voyager Optimus. The quality of the plastic on that figure, to me, honestly, just feels real cheap. Almost KO quality. But this actually feels like decent quality materials. He does not feel like a cheap figure. He actually feels like a very solid, very well-built figure. Very well-engineered. Another thing I do like is his overall color scheme. The use of light blue, light gray, dark gray, various other little colors. This actually makes him stand out very well. Another thing I do like is the fact that he actually does have weapon storage. Now, he does come with these two little pistols. The little pistols, well, little blasters rather, I actually do like. Now, there are a couple different ways that you can store them. One is right here along the side of the nose, what would be his jet. And that's where you would place them when he's in jet mode. Let me just show that real quick. Alright, you can have them stored like this. Which from back here, it does look fairly nice. Now, the other way you can store them, which I think makes it look several times even cooler, is these little screw holes right back here on either side. Yes, those are just big enough for these to go in. And that, to me, makes it look infinitely cooler. You know, I admit, that looks much cooler, because it doesn't look like just a pair of guns hanging off the side of his nose cone. It actually looks like it's part of him. But another thing I absolutely love about this figure is his articulation. He is very well articulated. For a Voyager, he's actually got excellent articulation. He's able to hold poses very well. Now, something else I actually do like, just because this is I have not really read any of the comics that he's in, but I see it as more of an homage to the original character. If you open up the canopy, right inside the cockpit, where the Headmaster would seat, you'd see there's 3 stats, just like on the original toy. It also already shows his speed, strength, his intelligence. But the fact that that is already incorporated, I think that is absolutely neat. I like that. Now, if I was to give any kind of cons, you'll have to give me a minute to actually think of a con. I guess the only one I can honestly give is, in my area, he is actually very, very difficult to find. That is really my only true complaint I can personally give, is I just had to wait a good while to get him. Now, aside from that, I really don't have any complaints about this figure. Honestly, of the various generations figures I fool with, the Voyager class ones, this is probably single-handedly my favorite. Because not only is it well done, not only is he brightly colored, which I do like, his transformation is simple, his articulation is excellent, and on top of that, his color scheme makes him stand out. Now, as far as his transformation goes, let's go ahead and get into that. Now, to transform him into his vehicle mode, first off, we're going to remove his head. I'll do a separate transformation on the head itself, but easiest thing to do is go ahead and fold in his fist. Like so. In this case, go ahead and rotate them 180 degrees. Now, as for his feet, fold them down just to make this part easier. Fold these out, flip these out, fold his feet in. Simple as that. Now, just to make this next part easier, go ahead and pull out his skirt pieces. Pull out his legs like so. Let me go ahead and remove the guns before I forget. Then, go ahead and fold back his legs a little more, which will make it easier to snap his nose into place. At this point, the pegs right here go into these peg holes on his back. Then, at this point, this peg right here goes into this little peg hole on the side of his leg. Then at this point, simply fold up these little vertical stabilizer pieces. Close those back in. Let's readjust the camera a little bit. There. And there we have it for his jet mode. Which, you gotta admit, that looks very easy. Now, as far as the Headmaster is concerned, it's as simple as this. Pull down the feet, and pull out the arms a little bit. Now, as you can see, the Headmaster itself does feature some detailing, which I will say does look pretty good. But the fact that he really don't have much in the way of, a separate arm other than it being molded in, is a bit of a bummer, and the fact that Brainstorm's face is still very much visible on the other side. But just the fact that it's an actual Headmaster is still pretty sweet. Now let's go ahead and take a look at that jet mode, shall we? And now that we got him into jet mode, let's go ahead and take a better look at him. Now, I like this jet mode for one reason. It's not the fact that it's a update version of the original jet mode. What it is that for me in design, this looks very similar to the R-Wing from the Star Fox series. This looks very close to the design of the R-Wing from the Star Fox series. But overall, it's a very slick looking jet. There's really not a whole lot of robot parts hanging off. I mean, obviously you can tell these are the legs, you can tell these are the arms, like the forearms. But other than that, for the most part, everything is very nicely tucked away. And overall, I mean, it's just a slick looking jet. Now, of course, with it being a Headmaster, the canopy does open. And you can seat the pilot inside. And yes, the canopy does close down. And, I admit, that actually does look pretty cool. Because I believe this is the first time in, I'm not exactly sure how long, over 25 years that we've had a Headmaster. Like, an official Hasbro or Takara Headmaster. I mean, there are a few third-party companies that do their own versions of Transformers. I have seen a few third-party Headmasters, but this one, with it being an official, in this case Hasbro, this is absolutely neat. Now let me go ahead and add the guns to the nose. And with that being added on there, you gotta admit, that does look intimidating. So the fact that it's a slick looking vehicle mode, the fact you can put the guns right up here and still see the pilot, that overall is just very nice. Now to get some size comparisons for the Generations Brainstorm, here he is next to the Legends class Generations Combiner Wars Power Glide, Combiner Wars Deluxe class Alpha Bravo, Age of Extinction Voyager class Drift, and Year of the Horse Masterpiece Optimus Prime. And articulation for Generations Brainstorm consists of a ball-jointed head, swivel-hinged shoulders, swivel biceps, double-hinged elbows, hinged wrist, swivel-hinged hips, swivel thighs, hinged knees, and swivel-hinged ankles. And articulation for the Headmaster itself consists of a ball-jointed head, ball-jointed shoulders, hinged hips, and hinged knees. And what are my overall thoughts on the Voyager class Generations Brainstorm? This figure I actually have no true complaints about. For me, this is about as perfect as you can make a Voyager class Transformer, in my opinion. But if you can find Brainstorm here, do grab him. He is actually very well built. He's very well done. Not only that, he's greatly articulated. His transformation is simple. His jet mode looks sweet. And on top of that, he's just a great update. He's just a great homage to the original Generation 1 Brainstorm. But if you can find him, I highly recommend that you get this guy. He's awesome. It's rare you hear me say that a figure's awesome. But that'll wrap up my review on the Transformers Generations Voyager class Brainstorm. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe.